Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and we are here to talk about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written in the 6th century BC, presumably by a guy Lao Tzu, filled with all sorts of enigmatic wisdom and text on how we might live a more reasonable life. Pardon me, just getting a sip of my kombucha this morning. Living a reasonable life. This is what I sort of chalk everything up to, right? It's not like if your life is reasonable, your life will be like, I think it's going to definitely be better than if you're unreasonable, right? And when we talk about things being reasonable, what I really focus on is this idea of, well, it's reasonable to want something from the world around us, but it's not reasonable to really expect to get it. It's not really reasonable to have the expectation that other people are going to do what you want them to do. It's not reasonable, to hold a grudge on someone and expect them to care, right? It's not reasonable to demand people change for you, right? When we talk about living reasonably, it's really about allowing things to be what they are. If like right now it's raining outside. If I wanted to go out for a walk this morning, it would be unreasonable for me to say, oh, well, I want to go out for a walk, but I don't want to get wet. Even if I had like rain gear and stuff, I could go out for a walk in rain gear, but it's like, well, my shoes might get wet if they're not waterproof or, now I could cover myself. Like there was a proverb one time. It was like, it's not reasonable to say you don't want to step on rocks and carpet the world. It's reasonable to admit that you don't want to step on rocks, and so you carpet your feet, right? By putting on shoes. And so, Alicia, you made beet. I love a good beet kombucha. Thanks for the message. I make it with beet juice on occasion. I don't make it with any juice now, but I used to make it with beets, and I liked a good savory kind of kombucha. So yeah, enjoy that. Where was I? Oh yeah, it's not reasonable to ask the world not to be a place that you can't walk around barefoot. It's not reasonable to do that. So, but it's also not reasonable to say, well, because I don't want to step on something, I'm going to go ahead and carpet the world, right? One, that would be ridiculous. But, so you put shoes on your feet, you put the carpet on your feet and not on everything else, right? That's reasonable. That's a reasonable solution. Now, when you're in your house, you can say, okay, I'm going to carpet this room because I want to be able to walk around barefoot. But it's not then reasonable to say, well, I want to walk around barefoot in my house on this carpet and never have to clean it, right? That's not reasonable. So now there's a relationship between you and the carpet, between you and the world around you, the world that you're living in. And that's the thing, that's reasonable. It's reasonable to take care of yourself. You're taking care of your feet. You're not asking the world to take care of you, right? And this happens in all sorts of things. We get to a place, it's raining, and so I got to close the window a little bit. Getting a little louder. So it's reasonable, right? When we have friends, and we have a job, or when we have things, responsibilities and other things like that. It's reasonable to take care of ourselves. Whether that means we have to leave our job or we have to change things in our lives or whatever. Like, the reasonable thing is to change how I am approaching this and not expect the thing to change. Like, I'm not going to change others, right? I'm not going to be able to change how everybody in the world lives, but I can change how I approach everybody in the world, right? And I kind of change what my expectations are. And I can change how, my attitude towards addressing those things. And maybe I can move, or maybe there's a lot that I can do with myself. And when I take those things one step at a time, when I allow myself the space to adjust and arrange my life in a way that is conducive to me living more reasonably, I get to relax a little bit more, because I may not have control of what others do, but I have control over how I respond to those things. So picking a random number today, I got number 50, awareness of death. And sometimes when, like I talk about death, I always have and I'm sure none of you have this fear, like, oh, it's about death. Whoa, I don't want to think about death. I'm sure all of you are okay with, thinking about death a little bit from time to time. And then I also want to point out that death isn't always death in the sense that, it's the end of your life. It could be the end of the end of your life as the person that you see yourself right now, right? So it could be the end of your current experience of life, right? It could be the end. You could be graduating college, or even grade school, or your master's program, or you could be getting a new job. And sometimes when those things stop, a new you is ready to take over, right? A new you is in control. And so you get to grow from those experiences. So let's look at this verse from that perspective. Awareness of death. Every being is entrusted with life for a time. However, it's only a prelude to death. And every time we talk about these verses, I always want you guys to remember to broaden as much as you possibly can your ideas of things that may suggest there's a limit. So every being. That doesn't necessarily mean every human, although people may take that into consideration. They may make that assumption. I've said this many times. These are like riddles. Someone told me a riddle the other day. And I was at a little dinner party thing, and someone said, "Hey, I got a riddle for you." It's like, what word or what has, what word begins and ends in E but only has one letter in it? And I thought about it for a short time. I was like, oh, envelope, and the person sitting next to me on the couch was like, "Did you hear that before?" And I was like, "No," but it's obvious, right? What word begins and has one letter in it, and like that's the only I was just, but that's why I really like riddles, right? Because I don't, and that's how I want to address the Tao. Every being. It's like, don't take it for face value. Open your mind to what is a being. And once you get past, okay, well, it's not human necessarily. Well, it's animals too. Well, yes, but Also, is a being an emotion? Is a being an addiction? Is a being a cell? Is a being a nap? So if we can broaden our idea of what VA likes that riddle. If we can broaden our idea of what a being is, we start to see where this is being written from. We start to see that perspective. Every being is entrusted with life for a time. So if it is a nap, from the time you fall asleep to the time you wake up, that nap is alive and living its life. However, it's only a prelude to death. When you wake up, that nap dies. That specific nap dies. That specific siesta, right? That dies at that point. And during its life, you were dreaming. It was part of that, like maybe it had you sleep through like a bug bite or something, or a spider bite or whatever that was, whatever happened during that nap as the nap. And this is really abstract, because the nap isn't contained in a body. You're the one taking the nap, but it's like the whole nap as a whole is entrusted with life for a time. However, it's only a prelude to death. And that's how deep, probably even deeper than that, I would like to look at each and every one of these verses, right? Every being, what's a being? Well, it could be anything. And it says, some live as optimists embracing life, others live as pessimists embracing death, some even live in preservation, passively living, advancing towards death. Okay, so that just spells out 3 different ways that people live, or beings live. It just lays it out. It's not giving you any judgment on it. It's not giving you any, like, this is better than this. It's just saying some do this, others do this, and some even do this. So, and it's not saying that this is the only ways that people live. It's just telling you that this is ways people live. This is a certain way that people live. It says the master lives. So this is talking now about the master. Now this, once again, does not have anything to do with a human being. It may be an animal, but it may be an entity as well. Like that idea that we have to start from the place of broad, and then we can bring it into us, right? So we can identify ourselves within this. So the master might be the nap. The master might be the anger, the sadness. The master might be the squirrel, whatever, right? Lives aware of her appointment with death. This brings her to knowing real life. I think I told this story. I saw a clip at some point, some video clip of someone talking about, like, their father had got a diagnosis in which he was going to have 6 months left to live, and then their father left their mother and went and lived and was building his life with his mistress of 14 years. They were upset. They were, like, rightfully so, I suppose, but, like, the response was, of course, well, and when you have a diagnosis that tells you have 6 months left to live, you prioritize the things in your life. You all of a sudden cannot muck about with things that aren't priorities. It's not a priority to keep other people happy. It's not a priority in this person's life to to accept a life in which he is unhappy in order to keep other people unhappy. The only way that he was going to live his own life was to be aware of his appointment with death. The question is, why was he not aware that he was going to die anyway? And that's the thing, like, he was living up to an etiquette, the etiquette of staying in his marriage and being happy, quote unquote, in his marriage and all of this, even though he had an affair for 14 years. When you're aware of your appointment with death, it brings you to knowing real life. This is how I ended up here, wherever this is. Because when I was younger, I had very close brushes with death. And when those happened, I had to realize that I'm living on borrowed time. I had to realize that I am not here. I can't waste my time. And it could be said that even though I believe I shouldn't be wasting my time or whatever, even though I do believe that, I'm still wasting plenty of time, and as I continue to mature, I continue to prioritize, and my life changes little by little all the time. I don't make big wholesale changes. I have had to make some big wholesale changes, but those still solidify over time. And that's all because I know I'm living on borrowed time. I know that I have this appointment with death eventually. And so it brings me to a point of knowing real life. And I can't allow other things and other people or other ideas to get in the way of me being able to experience my life, right? I have to keep putting myself first. That doesn't mean that other people don't become, aren't important to me. They are important to me. I love people very deeply, and I love you guys, and I come on here and I do this show and all of this kind of stuff, and that's all great. But it's so important for me to make sure that I'm keeping I'm keeping myself out in front and making sure that I'm living my life, so that if I were to walk outside and be challenged by something that is that's dangerous, but it is the way forward, I will go through it. Or it's dangerous, or it is embarrassing, or it is whatever. If there are things that I need to do, and I need to face the identity that I have, right? That's the thing that's living as an optimist or living as a pessimist or passively living. If I'm living as a pessimist and I don't want to live as a pessimist, I'm going to challenge that. But if I'm living as a pessimist, it's really, really hard for me to challenge that, because that's the identity that I carry. If I'm living as an optimist and I need to be able to reel that back in so I can, live in another way, I have to be able to do that. I can't just have this identity. I can't just have a single identity. I have to be everything, because I am. And so as I live, and again, just because I had, if I had a diagnosis of 6 months to live, I don't know that my life would change very much. I might not spend as much time trying to preserve the house that I live in, let's say, right? Because that's future, like I want to preserve the house because I expect to live longer. If I had 6 months to live, I'd be like, well, then the house only has to stand for 6 months. I probably would be like, well, I'm not going to spend, I'm not going to do any more work on the house. The house is on its own now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to service this house when I need to service other things. Now, there may be things in the house that I would want to do before I died, but my guess is that I wouldn't worry so much about the woodchuck. You know what I mean? My guess is I wouldn't worry so much about digging out the crawl space. Like, I wouldn't be spending time over those 6 months doing those things, because those are future driven activities, right? That's like, I spend a week so that I can enjoy. I spend a week doing like labor so I can enjoy 10 years of a clear mind, or 20 years or 100 years of, just knowing that's been done. If I got 6 months to live. So in some ways, some things that I do would change, right? But it wouldn't be, right? It wouldn't be like the core of my life would change, right? That, like, I want to spend my life doing the things I want to do, being close to the people I love. If I were to get a diagnosis of, like, if I were to be told that I would die in 6 months, I had 6 months to live, I'd still be here every day. I might not go out and dig out my crawl space or get rid of a woodchuck. I might still, like, of course, like, mow my lawn, and things like that. But I would definitely be here. I would definitely be coming back here, because this is who I am. This is what I do. And I love this. Hey, Alicia.
Good morning, Martin John. How are you?
How's your walk? I'm doing.
Oh, you're doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Yeah.
Good. My walk is good. I haven't usually do yoga on Tuesdays, but I have a vending event this morning, so I'm doing my regular neighborhood walk without my regular neighborhood walking friends. So I've got you this morning to keep me company.
As an alternate, I mean, I'll take it.
I do appreciate having you available.
Of course.
To walk with me. Yeah, I'm enjoying your talk as usual. And, I'm thinking about the events, and every event has a death. And we have, we're dog rescuers. I'm putting that title on, claiming that title. We have helped a lot of dogs, and at one point had like 8 dogs, but they all reached senior, getting old, and we had a bunch that were the same age, and over the last 12 months we've lost 5 of them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we're down to 3 dogs, which is plenty. Plenty. One is a Great Pyrenees. She's our guardian for our goats and pigs, so she stays outside, and the other 2 are indoors. But being somebody who cares about dogs, I am, in community with others who are also do rescue, and so friends reach out to me a lot when they need, a foster or, something like that. And yesterday, my friend did reach out that they had a dog that needed, a safe place to land. And he had been found on the streets and in a shelter, and then he was with a family, but didn't get along with the kids. So he went back to the animal control, and then they bailed him out of animal control and delivered him to me yesterday. And he's done really well. But this morning we had a little thing where he and my other dog, he kind of growled and postured at her, which made me a little bit nervous because I I don't do dog fights, like my nervous system. And I had a dog that was constantly picking fights, and I kept her, for 12 years, but it cost a lot of vet bills. And, it wasn't fair to her, to the other animals, or to me, because, all of that is not good. So, I've made a decision that I have very little tolerance for dogs who don't get along. and so I'm a little bit nervous now about the new guy. So we're going to see how long this life lasts.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me start by saying you started this story with, we are dog rescuers. So there's an identity. That's an identity that you're carrying. Right. And that's an identity that has a life.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. By having an identity, you are, it's sort of the line that comes to mind is, when you need to prove yourself, you are going to allow challenges to best you. Mm-hmm. And so what comes up when I'm thinking about like your identity of, we're a dog rescuer. Well, let's challenge that now. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're absolutely right. It is reasonable to be a little nervous right now. It is reasonable for you to question if this dog is going to be a right fit. You had 5 dogs die this past year. You have 3. That's plenty. You just acquired a new one, and you acquired a new one. And I would venture to say, just because of the way you talked about it from this story, is that it not openly reluctant, but sort of that weird split of like, it's nice to only have 3. And then my identity is being challenged with this thing. But it's all of that is kind of like wrapped up in one thing, where it's like you have an identity of being a dog rescuer, but then you also have this like desire, possibly, like you had 12 dogs in your house or whatever. You have this thing, and you have the goats, and you got all of the things, right? You got all the things, and it's like and I can imagine, and I don't know if this is true or not, but at some point it's just like you don't even know how much taxes you're paying every day in terms of thought and care and energy and all of this for everything else. And then in comes something that may very well be fine. And because because if we were to reasonably step back and go, oh, this dog's been in and out of shelters and homes and stuff like that, it doesn't really know what's going on. It's confused. It is much younger than all of the other dogs in your house, so it seems. And may want to prostrate himself so he can be like, no, I'm taking over this house because I'm afraid, because I need to control things. I need this. But all things being equal, like, it's going to have the experience it needs, and you're going to have the experience you need, right? So it isn't necessarily, like, all of this isn't necessarily about the dog, but it's like in your experience, that dog growling or whatever, or challenging, is the experience that you needed to open yourself up to the idea of maybe it's okay to say no, rather than like identify so heavily as a foster parent. Now, that doesn't. Sometimes just having the thought in your head that it's okay to send this one back
Yeah.
Is enough to challenge you, not actually having to do it. You know what I mean? Why don't we pick a number and see where it takes us?
13.
Lucky number 13. Finding equality at the extremes. I think that's sort of what I just said. That idea, like the extreme is having to get rid of it, but you don't necessarily have to. And there's equality on both. To succeed and to fail are equally undesirable. Creation and destruction are equally present within us. What do I mean by to succeed and to fail are equally undesirable? The more success you have as a foster parent in this case, the more you protect it by hiding failure. The idea that you might not be able to take care of this one. The more you associate with failure, the more you embody it. The more you associate with not being able to do it, the more you take it on as this is going to challenge my identity of a foster parent.
Yeah.
When neither success nor failure, so when neither like being able to be a foster parent or be someone that lets a dog go, right? The more you embody it. Well, no. When neither success or failure is identified as the destination, being becomes the objective. So then you get to be. And you get to allow the new dog and your old dogs to all be. Without having to necessarily go through the same thing you went through before with all of the fights. What do I mean by creation and destruction are equally present within us? Having a body and mind with which I identified gets me involved in the manifestation. That's all the story you're telling around the dog, what's going to happen, how it's going to feel, ... And all of that is yours, right? That has nothing to do with the actual dog. It did something, and for whatever reason, you're creating a story in your head about what the future looks like. The manifestation convinces me of my actions, i.e. getting rid of it or keeping it, right? And so naming them, I both create and destroy. You create your identity and you destroy the possibility of other things, neither of which is unique. To see yourself with indifference, you will have faith in all things. To see the world with indifference, you will be able to care for it all. Now that doesn't say, at the end there, well then just keep it. It says you'll be able to care for it all. Now, if you get rid of this new dog, if you send it back, say, nope, and you don't ever need a reason. Like that's what it says in the beginning. You don't need a reason to let this dog go because it's not about success or failure. It's not like you're failing at being a foster parent. This one just doesn't work. That's all. You don't even need a reason, right? To see yourself with indifference, that means dropping the we are foster parent. Right? That means dropping that identity. Then you will have faith in all things. You'll have faith that things are the way they are. To see the world with indifference, when you get to be indifferent to... And when I talk about indifference, I always say, don't care in the most loving way. So this dog has been in and out of homes and stuff like that. You tell a story that, oh, that's such a shame in this dog. Burr, 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 burr. That's not indifference. That's you being manipulated by the story that the shelters want to tell you so that you will take the dog. Right? That's manipulation. And we try to manipulate, right? Like here, like they bailed her out of the thing, right? Like there's a story that you are telling that is like, if anyone were to question me, I'd come out squeaky clean. I'm not going to think you're squeaky clean. I'm thinking you have poor boundaries and you probably want some space in your life. Right? And so you accepted this dog because there was the story that you will cave to because you're not indifferent and they know you're not indifferent. Right? Yeah, but you can care in the most loving way, right? You can care in a very loving way. You can, like, I love this dog so much, it can't be here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you're in a relationship with somebody, it's like, I love you so much and I know you're going through a lot. And I'm not the person that can care for you, but I am going to love you. It's kind of like having a child with addiction. I know it's hard, and I'm sorry, but I have other children. I have my partner. I have myself. I have my home. It's just not going to work. I love you. That is not in question, but I can't care the way you want me to care, because that makes me hurt you. That makes me ultimately force you under my assumptions. And we can't do that. Like, as soon as I think it's okay for me to tell you how to be, just like you telling the dog, you can't do that. Right. Yes, he can.
Right.
You know what I mean? There is absolutely nothing. And so you have to figure out what is holding you onto this, right? The success and the failure, the creation, the destruction, and all of this. Like, that all comes down to, well, what are you dealing with here? Because it's not about the dog. If you can be indifferent to the life of the dog, and the dog's not going to be like, I'll show her how bad my life is going to be when I go out. Maybe they're going to find someone great, and maybe they're going to be put down.
That's more likely, probably.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. But if this dog were to go around having fights its whole life, and maybe just get injured along the way, or kill other dogs, maybe it's okay.
Yeah, not okay in my house.
Well, it's not going to happen in your house. But that's the thing. Like, that's that indifference, like that indifference, right? It's like you care in the most loving way. You dropped off. If you wanted to come back up and finish this, you can. Like, when I say I don't care in the most loving way, it's true. Like, I really do love people. Like, I love people so deeply, but I can't care. Like, you probably have heard me talk about when I work with addicts and stuff. I don't care about your addiction. You want to go out and use. Yeah. That's like, you have to care about that, because I can't watch you 24 hours a day. I got you here for 90 minutes and that's it. Right. And that isn't going to be making any difference in your life. But if, if your counselor tells you, I want you to stay clean for 30 days, and they have an idea of how to reward you, if you were to use within that 30 days, you wouldn't tell your counselor, right? Because you're going to get a reward. And, right. And if your counselor is, telling you that they don't want to give you something that you want, it's just like, oh, I want another brownie. It's like, no, you can't have another brownie. No one gets another brownie. It's like, come on, I've got all of this time. I'm going to go out and use if you make me upset. Right now, all of a sudden, you're utilizing this thing that they care about against them. You are using that to manipulate. And that's why, like, as soon as you care about something, you can be manipulated. And I know that that's a really weird thing to say, but like, you can probably look at your life and be like, oh my God, I've been manipulated all this time because I care about a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so easy, right?
Yeah. Starting from child, like, that's one of the first things I think I learned as a child is the punishment and reward system, and how to be, being manipulated into doing the things in some way or another. But
right.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely that thing.
And that happens. We all do it to varying degrees of awareness of it, right? We all like. It's like, once you know what someone cares about, it's like you start. I mean, I remember I was in a relationship once, and someone said, like, they got mad at me. I was like, that's a deal breaker, like something she witnessed. I mean, I I do this show. I talk to lots of people and stuff, and she didn't like the way I was talking to someone. She was like, "This is a deal breaker. You can't." And I was just like, "Well, then the deal's broken." Like
Yeah,
I'm not.
that's it.
You managed that incorrectly. You thought that my relationship with you was going to be more important than I am.
Right.
Not the case. Not the case, right? And if you want to hold that over my head and try and manipulate me, then you aren't the person that I need to be with anyway, right? If you're trying to manipulate me, like from all you know about me, you're trying to manipulate me into this, like, no, that's not going to happen, right? And I'm very easy to let things go because I don't care in the most loving way, like and this goes back to the line earlier that I read. It's like, this brings you to knowing real life. You being a dog rescuer is not real because you're Alicia. You're so much more than that.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I mean?
I've watched, yeah.
And everything that you do is going to equate to more than just that, than more than just one thing. And as soon as you start to focus on and lean into an identity, you're going to get challenged. You're going to get challenged. And if you look back, you have been challenged time and time and time again. And this is a challenge that in which your awareness is heightened enough to know the challenge and to be like, you know what? Maybe we don't have to do it this way. Maybe you can. Maybe you can still do it. And maybe just considering this right now is literally changing the posturing of the new dog. And the new dog may just be changing simply because you have met the challenge of the experience that he brought into your life.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that title or identification is being challenged. And, if everybody could just get along and be peaceful,
and that's not a reasonable request. Because why should they?
Oh.
For you? Right? Well, why?
Yeah.
And
why do I want everybody to be peaceful?
It's not that why do you want, I know why you want everybody to be peaceful, because you want everybody to be peaceful, because that is why you allow your, that like you keeping the peace in the clutter in your house is the same as you telling everybody else to keep the peace with the anger in their bodies. That's the same story. This is all coming from the same place. And so understanding the root, and this is what I do with clients, is that we go back and we find that root and we start to we start to get rid of that root so that you can grow. Like the idea that you want other people to be, it only exists because you have accepted that role of keeping the peace.
The peacekeeper. The dog rescuer. Yeah.
And all of that. And you'll rescue a dog, but it's going to, and so now which is your identity more, right? The peacekeeper, which means you got to get rid of the dog, or the dog rescuer, in which you have to keep the dog. Now all of a sudden you're dealing with deep trauma that you have locked in your body.
Yeah. I have to say the peacekeeper wins.
Yeah, I think it's going to keep. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it hasn't in the past, and that's shot you in the foot.
Yeah. Sure.
So you're. Yeah. So I mean, you're. This is the path, right? Like. And I would definitely say, if this is something you want to like crack into, we can have a free consult. We can talk about this a little more personally and a little more deeply about what these things are. But I mean, it's obvious. Like you're having.
It's obvious to you.
I mean, this is what I do. But you've only come up a couple times, and we've already identified a couple that are pretty.
Yeah,
So it's not, these things aren't hidden. They're in every interaction you have. Right. And so when people come up and they talk to me, it's like, it's not lost on me that they're dealing with the same thing. They're like, you're like when you go out, like I remember, like I don't know if you said the words like the last time we talked, like I think it was the last time we talked you with like he has clutter and it's going to be a losing battle, so I'm going to just keep the peace and allow this to happen. And it's like this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're looking out there expecting the world, because this is the frame. So these are the two sides, right? In you, it's forced. And when you look out in the world, you want them to keep the peace. Right? You want everybody else to keep it because you're doing it. You have given up so much of who you are to quote unquote keep the peace. And you're like, if I have to give up all of this, why can't you just be nice? And that's
right.
Right. And so but that's your problem. That has nothing else to that has nothing to do with anybody else. Why can't we all just get along? Is I'm doing it. You need to do it as well. And that's your frame of reference, and your frame of reference.
That reigns true with the flag situation as well. I'm putting up flags in love, but also planting my flag is a target for people who disagree with, whatever.
Right.
So,
right. And that's a way that you can allow yourself to have plausible deniability that you are not keeping the peace. Like, even though you're out there, planting your flag, you're like, oh, but it's just my shirt and it's your shirt and it's just, it's like, well, yeah, but there's plausible deniability.
They're love flags. Martin,
yes. But you also know, and so there's plausible deniability, right? There's plausible deniability that your love flags can't cause grief.
Right.
But they can, and they absolutely do. You know what I mean? And so all of these things are connected, and all of these things come down to how you identify and how you see yourself. So, and this is when I talk about, at the end of my show, I don't know if you ever listen to the end, I always say, keep recovering yourself. And the idea of recovering yourself is you have been under the influence of this idea that you picked up somewhere. And the idea that you are more than this, and you are always going to be more than this. And that means you have to open yourself up to the things that, you have to open yourself up to not keeping the peace in order to have peace. You have to open yourself up to speaking up so that you can have inner peace. Your life, your body is being taxed by this identity you have of being a dog rescuer or being a peacekeeper or being, all of these identities are keeping you at arm's length. And that's what it means. Creation and destruction are present within us. As you create this identity, you are destroying a piece of yourself that's getting put in the background. And you're saying, that's not me. And when that person rears its head, you have embarrassment, you have anger, or you have frustration. And the thing is that person needs just as much love as the person who can bring in 12 dogs and have them in their home until they pass.
Yeah.
It's easier to love that person in our society, right? Because they're love flags. Right, because
sending love out into the world.
Yeah. Like, oh, how good for you. As you're sending love out into the world, then just do it. What's with the flag? Well, it has to let people know that they're getting love. And it's like, well, are you letting the people know that they're getting love at the same time you're letting other people know that you're not loving them? Right? Like, I think that was one of the questions I asked you. Are you indiscriminate about the love that you have? Or is it just, selective? And then those are important things.
I can't say that I have a lot of love for,
Yeah.
Nazis and,
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Show how disingenuous, to do that. To be like, yes, let's all just love one another. Let's all just keep the peace, except for them. Right.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, And then this is exactly why you want to challenge those identities and stuff. And this is exactly, and sometimes you just got to put the hammer down, and that's okay. And learning that, and learning that, learning how to do that. And again, to see yourself with indifference, not to see yourself as, I love other people. No. I don't love everybody, and that's all right. That's all right, because I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn by admitting who I am. I'm going to learn about myself. And that's brilliant. Because you are perfect, right? Like, and as you grow and as you mature and as you become the person that you are, you get to love yourself even deeper. And as you love yourself deeper, you'll be able to see love for others. Now, again, just like with addicts and stuff, you don't have to be a nice neighbor to love them. Like it doesn't have to look like the same way you love everybody. You know, but you can have love for them rather than have that deep hate, that deep disgust for what they're doing in the world, and that deep frustration. And then that, this, but all identity, all sorts of stuff.
Wow, another tangle for my brain to work through.
Well, I'm glad. I'm
much.
glad we got to talk a little bit. We keep like think about maybe working together. I mean, I think there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and the fact that you can laugh at yourself a little bit through this really puts you in good. It's good. You're doing great. Thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate everything that you have brought onto the show, and just really allowing me to kind of poke some holes in your identity a little bit. It's fun for me. Susan, how are you, my dear?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing great. Life is easy. Talking to Alicia, we're just we're exposing Alicia to herself in the public sphere.
You're good at that, though.
I do what I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So what's going on with you? How's the family? How are you? How's the body? How's the back?
Today,
how's your heart? Is your heart still pumping good?
It is, but today I see the heart surgeon. I'm not having open heart surgery or anything. They're just doing an ablation, which will stop it from beating so fast.
Oh, okay.
And it's outpatient. Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Congrats. And that's today.
That's today. I'm excited.
Oh, good luck. Everybody, a little love to Susan today.
Amen. And getting ready to go to LA again for my birthday.
Oh, I know. Yeah, your birthday's coming up.
You betcha. I'll be 77.
Ooh,
lucky numbers.
Man. 77. That's the bending of a bow. We read that yesterday, I think, or last week.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. But not that we have to read that. There are some verses that I know what they are, like 16, 77, 27. Like those are classics, and people have chose those a lot, and we've over the last 6 years or whatever. So you said 77. I'm like, oh, bending of a bow. In my mind, that's just exactly where my mind goes.
There you go.
Okay.
But I've been doing great. I've been recovering from my last illness, going to physical therapy, going to water aerobics.
Nice.
It's not water aerobics; it's water exercise. I mean, they get your heart rate all the way up and all the way down.
Good.
So, yeah, it's great. And
Alicia sends you some love and happy birthday wishes.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you so much. And I send you love right back.
I love this. I love this show and everybody that listens to it and everything. It's such a beautiful community. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it, guys. And everybody that contributes and even just listens. I think that's I think there's high vibration here, and I'm appreciative of it.
Me too. And I wanted to tell you that my son's in-laws have come in from Korea. And they're going to be there when they usually are there for my birthday, but the last couple of years it hasn't worked out. So we're having a big reunion.
Nice.
I know. And I've forgotten all the Korean that I learned.
Good.
I didn't do well at it all.
No, that's all right. And anything, and when you're in their presence, maybe a couple words will come to your mind, and it'll be okay. Or you'll spend some time, refreshing before. Maybe not. It's your birthday.
Maybe not. That's right.
And they come here because they love speaking English, and so they will. And
yeah.
Great. And and you're having this hard thing today. No, there's no expectations on you. You just get to love them.
There you go.
It's gonna be such a beautiful reunion.
I know, it's so much fun. We do all kinds of wonderful, and they've got Koreatown, K-Town in LA, and they always take me there and just show me all these things that a lot of people don't know. So it's really exciting for me.
Yeah. And do you guys do like Korean barbecue or anything when they're there?
Oh, they cook all the time.
They cook. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I know. That's really wonderful.
Do you, because it's a ferment, kimchi, is that something that you guys?
I love kimchi. I eat it probably 4 times a week.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And because it's a ferment, it's good for your gut, and it's good for, I don't eat it because it's got so many hot peppers in it, and
that's what I love.
Yeah, I love it too, but it's a nightshade.
Yeah.
And nightshades, like no potato, no tomato, no pepper, and my diet is as such as.
Yeah. It's really restricted.
Yeah. So I ferment foods, but and kimchi is one thing that I never got into because of how much nightshades are in there. But I love a good daikon, and I know they make kimchi with daikon as well. And I guess it's not kimchi, but it's they use that daikon radish and ferment it. And
it's yummy.
Well, either way,
yummy.
So good. So today, heart stuff, and then your birthday, more heart stuff. Just it'd be good for your heart to love your love on your family and all of that. So good. Yeah. Let's pick a number and see.
Well, I was going to pick 27 because that's my birthday, but you just said that's done so much.
No, that's okay. We can do it. I mean, we don't have to. I can,
Let's pick a random.
Okay. Rando. Number 9, the danger of extremes. This is interesting. I was talking about this line, having to prove yourself will allow challenges to best you. I mentioned that with Alicia a little while ago. So it's interesting this one comes up. And I also, what comes to mind is one of the first times, but when they were coming and you had to clean everything up for Christmas.
Yeah, I remember.
That was the breakthrough conversation.
That was my first lesson.
Yeah. So having to prove yourself will allow challenges to best you. And now, think about how much your idea of your in-laws have change. Not in-laws. I don't know what they are. I think what I don't know what they are.
There's a word for it in Korean, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. I don't either. What, having to prove yourself, because you look at them as something, right? That you need to prove yourself to them because you want a good impression and you want all of these things. I get it. But like once you think you have to prove yourself to somebody, well, that's going to allow challenges to best you because,
right.
As we were talking about with Alicia, the goalpost can move through other people. Other people can move the goalpost for you. If they get wind that you care about what they think about you, guess what's going to happen? If they get wind of you're trying to impress them, they're not going to be impressed.
Exactly.
Right. And that's what I would do because I'm a jerk and I'm a contrarian. You want to impress me?
Yes,
Guess what? I will not be impressed no matter what.
That's right.
I will not be impressed.
I don't even try anymore. They just accept me exactly for who I am.
And so that you don't have anything to prove.
We just have fun.
Right. Focus your attention on money and lose sight of what is valuable. So if they're coming over here, so I mean they at least have resources enough to travel here. You probably don't have the resources to go to Korea.
No.
So if you were to focus your attention on money and what they're spending while they're here, when they come here, you lose sight of what is valuable, which is just to be present. To be present and to receive the fact that they're going to be here for your birthday.
Right.
I know that happened to me in Spain because, like, I visited. I was there for one of their children's birthdays and stuff, and I was in a space where I was just kind of like, I don't want you guys spending all this money on me. And they're like, please, what are you doing? Like, it's fine. The only time I spent money was when I was on the Camino because they weren't there. But any time they were there, they just took care of me.
That's exactly how it is with the Koreans and my son, both. I mean, I used to feel really guilty about all the money they spend on me when I go, and it's like Christmas, literally.
Yeah.
But now I just love it. I just go there and love it.
And that's what this line really kind of says, right? Focus your attention on money and you lose sight of what is valuable. What's valuable is this connection that we have right now.
Exactly.
And what's happening right now. Keep in mind outside influence and you will be its prisoner. Mm. And that outside influence, we were talking to Alicia about the outside influence being the peacekeeper or the identity of the dog whisperer or whatever it is, the dog rescuer. But all of those outside influences are identities and all of that kind of stuff of who you are, who you used to be and all of that. And you become its prisoner. I know when we worked together, we got you out of that.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Cage, right. And it's like, we can put that behind us now, but we need to know this root. We need to know the root so we can pull it from the root, not the aerial part of the plant, because that's not where the power is. Sure, I could concede a little here and there, but I don't want to have to even concede, right? You want to be able to now enjoy this living, this life as you are, and to love yourself as you are, and the whole complexity of all that you are. And it's not it can't cleanly be expressed, but it can be experienced.
Yes.
And it says, do what you do and move on. It isn't yours anyway.
Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah, me too. Just do what you do. It's like, you did this. Now let's see what comes back. And when you see what comes back, and how often have we been surprised at what's come back? It's not what we expected, especially now as an adult, right? Like as a child, you're always dealing with the same people. And all those people grew up, like in the same space. Like you're dealing with your mom and your dad and the people that know those people and burp. And everybody is towing the same line. Because Our parents weren't venturing out, meeting new people. Like they were who they were. Like therapy wasn't something that adults did 50 years ago, right? So we don't know who they were and what they're doing and all of this. But now, as we're kind of able to grow, and we can embrace the paradox of our own lives and our own selves. We can say, "Oh, well, let's look at this, and I can do what I do, and this isn't what I normally do, but here I am doing it. Let's see what happens. It isn't yours anyway."
That's right. I remember when my dad was dying, I was there with him, and I've had some problems with my dad, but I was there, and he was telling me, he was crying, and my dad never cries, crying and crying and crying. He says, "I got to tell you something before I die." And I said, "Okay." He said, "When I was in Korea, in the Army, they had me bomb this certain site that they thought was alien or whatever, and so he did it. And he went back later and he found out it was all women and children hiding. And he just never got over that his entire life. And I had to put that in perspective of how he became what he came.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's that goes back to the idea of like the pre-karmic buffet. These are the things that you're going to have to try and find peace with.
Yeah.
These are the things that this happened because you were manipulated.
Yeah. And we all have that.
Yeah, absolutely. We all have done things that we aren't proud of. We all have done things in which we cared about a thing and we got manipulated into doing something we don't endorse.
Right.
But we have to find peace with that within ourselves. And then hopefully he was able, in those final days to be able to find peace by just telling somebody.
Just letting it go. That's exactly right.
By the end, we will do this work, but sometimes we'll only have a couple minutes after we do it to enjoy it.
Right.
It's better to live our lives, I think, having done that work and enjoyed the fruits of that.
And enjoying your life.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever enjoyed his life.
No.
I have a whole different perspective of him now that I've thought about things. So.
Yeah. Yay. I love you, dear. Thank you so much. Good luck today on your procedure. We are all holding you close and loving you, and I'm looking forward to hearing about how wonderful and full your heart is after this procedure. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I love you. If anybody wants to come up, I do have a little more time. We can pick another number. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and jump off. If you guys benefit from the work I do, please consider supporting me and the show through Venmo or buy me a coffee. You can do that through my profile. You can just click on my face. That'll take you to my profile, I believe, and then you can check out my link tree. I know it's a whole thing, but check out the links in my profile, and it'll take you to my website or my link tree, and then life is easy. Everything can move forward from there. You can find all sorts of things about me and my past and my work from there. JK, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing well. Is Grace in town?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd come up and tell you. Yep, she got here late last night and she eventually found the car. Although I was smart, I had this, tile type thing that helped her guide her there. So I left it in the car, so that she could locate it in the parking lot. But she got her stuff in. She apparently drove to the place because she said, "I have the car parked." So she got to where she needed to go. And she said the
place she's staying is very cute. And she got to meet one of the roommates. I guess there's two other girls staying in separate other rooms in the house, and then the woman who owns the property. So she got to meet one of them, and they're all very quiet, but she said are very, very nice. She got to hang out with one of the girls last night, and she had a great conversation. So she is very happy.
Good. I'm glad. And is she? Are you guys hanging out today?
No, we're not.
What?
She has to go to. She has her thing. She has her first rehearsal. She has to be there around noon, I think, and maybe tonight. I don't know. It just depends on how late rehearsal goes to. But tomorrow she's off, so I will spend the
But
day with her
tomorrow you're
tomorrow.
leaving, right? What time are you leaving tomorrow?
Like 8:00 flight. So,
oh, yeah, that's great.
So we got the whole day. Great. Yeah.
Good,
so
good.
And I told her, now you can take me to the airport. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I said, you have good timing. So yeah, it'll be great. So tomorrow we'll hang out. And today, actually, I'm not going to be doing much today, but I'll just be hanging out. But this morning I'm going to run over, and I had messaged some buddies of mine I didn't get a chance to before I got here. I had other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so I messaged both of them to say, hey, I'll be back in August, blah, blah, blah. Let's get together. And one of them goes, I'm in Cape Cod. And I did say, well, I'm here now. So if you wanted to meet for a coffee this morning. So one is away now and the other one's here. So I'm meeting him for a coffee. And then the other one who's away in August, I'll meet him because he's in town. So yeah, so it worked out, but I'll do that, and then I don't know, I'll putz around. That's it.
Yeah, you're in a nice area for it. I mean, it's like you can find everything where you're at, like
Oh yeah,
yeah. There's you're very and because Google's not far, so you got a lot of hip little places to stop into. So
look around.
Yeah, life is easy.
Life is easy. So.
You got a number?
I don't have one. Will you pick one, please?
Absolutely. 55, inner strength and harmony. One who has inner strength is like a baby boy, unspoiled, flexible, and empty with no judgment. Bees, wild beasts, birds of prey cannot harm him. With no knowledge of the world, his penis can stand erect. He has no shame or question of why. Caught in manifestation, the myriad scream for a time. He hardly notices. His harmony is so aligned he can scream forever without getting hoarse. He is powered by his harmony, and thus all fear is kept at bay. The master never speaks of possessing anything. Life is the blessing. Those who pursue power and excitement find themselves confused. They allow their emotions to guide them, and they become exhausted. It is not from Tao, and whatever is not from Tao arrives dead. There's so much. As I was reading this, I recalled that I have totally forgotten in like writing it. Not. I mean, I remember that I wrote it, but when I read it, I don't read it as the person who wrote it. And so as I'm reading this, and I'm like, like caught in manifestation, the myriad scream for a time. And it's like, as I'm reading this, it's like I'm still putting the riddle together. It's like I was able to write it, but I still am excited by all of the places that it can go. Yeah. It's just, it was just as I was reading this one that came to mind.
And the minute you have the answer, it's not going to be fun anymore. And it's not going to be inviting.
If I think I know, and that's the thing, like staying in this position of knowing I don't know, and never really anchoring to anything. The master never speaks of possessing anything. Life is the blessing. The moment I was writing it, during those months or whatever that I was writing it, that was the blessing. Now the blessing is being able to read it and share with the likes of Alicia and Susan and yourself and Marianne and all of the people that, and all of the people that are listening, right? Like, so So those who pursue power and excitement to be like that measurement find themselves confused. There's nothing confusing here. This is what's happening. They allow their emotions to guide them and they become exhausted. And that's why it's, like the more we allow our emotions to guide us, the more we allow ourselves to be in that whirlwind, the more exhausted we get. And there's no reason.
No, there's not. I think that the emotional part, it's even still, I have emotion, but letting anything other than, it's hard because there has to be a word. So I say my heart or my inner self guide me, because there's really nothing in indecision. There's nothing in, that part allows you to be manipulated. That part, there's no protection there,
Right.
and so taking that time and taking that space to find that, whatever it is, I call it my heart, you might call it something else, but to find what is it that is within me, but in this moment, and not allow that to be stuck and structured. Oh, this is how I am now, and then you take it on, and then I'd often get stuck, but it's really it's a lot of mental work, I think, to be able to let go of thoughts, to try to let yourself not be caught up in, for me, what should be done or what the right decision is, because that was the pattern that I noticed within myself is what's the right answer here, always looking for the right answer instead of saying, well, what's the right answer for you in this moment, and really dismissing myself completely in that whole process. So it was really it's really interesting because that's where I think the inner strength and the harmony comes in. I think you were talking about harmony yesterday. Were you?
Yeah, I think so. I can't recall.
I can't remember either. I think you were talking about harmony or at some point, but it was funny because I turned on the show right in the beginning, and then I had to get off because I had just gotten off the phone with Grace, and it was this whole thing about the car and leaving the car at the airport, and didn't know what time she was going to come in. And I had said, well, what if you did this? And the way she responded, I heard as her being aggressive or whatever, not liking the idea. Yeah. And you were talking about, I don't know if you were talking about harmony or reasonableness or whatever, or looking at yourself. And I was like, all right. I was like, I'm going to put this down and figure this out. And, I sat for a minute. And I did just that. I said, well, what is it? What is the hesitation with, why do you need an alternative? And you bring, what are you worried about? And, having that conversation, there wasn't really anything I was worried about. I was just making a suggestion or whatever. But I also wasn't open at the moment to think about anything else. Right. I was my suggestion, and then she was wrong. In my head, I heard her push back. Of course. Yeah. But because I heard her push back, and I heard what you had said, whatever it happened to be, my harmony was disrupted in that moment. And I was like, I don't want to enjoy my time that I'm having right now, in a beautiful space that I'm in. What a gift. What a gift each day is, regardless of where I wake up. But, why do I want to ruin all that just so that, my suggestion needs to be honored? Right. It's stupid. And so, I got up and I was like, just get your ass butt up and go move and just go. And then, so I did. And then I got in and I talked to you about coffee beans. Yeah. And my harmony's restored then, because I felt good. I had the conversation. It wasn't about anything else but me in that moment. And I think you mentioned that earlier is about, who am I in this moment, let alone everybody else. And then you can start to collaborate.
So that's interesting. So this is the first time I've ever really kind of connected these two things, but that emotion that comes up with you is like the little boy's penis. It's like, this is what arose. In one way or another, right? And this is what arose. And the boy doesn't even question that it arose. And he just moves on. He almost doesn't even recognize it. I mean, you can play with it a little bit here and there, right? Like, and that happens. But it's like, yeah, let me just explore this. Let me explore this emotion that came up. I don't have to defend it. I don't have to defend this thing. I don't have to question why it happened. Just like, oh, this happened. Let me look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me fool around with it for a little bit, and let me move on.
Yep.
And eventually, it goes away. You know? And so that's an interesting, I've never, until you were talking about like this just now, I've never equated the little boy's penis as the emotion.
It's a very good connection.
Yeah, but that's a really kind of, it's just like, oh, well, here, this happened. Okay, so what? Like that boy doesn't care. He doesn't have any shame or question of why it came up. This emotion that I'm having now just came up. I don't have to say it's your fault. You did it. I don't have it. Like that boy doesn't have any knowledge of the world, and the knowledge of the world that we have puts us in a position to, blame the world for these emotions coming up.
Yeah. And it's because, in that moment, and it's helpful because you happen to be talking, well, of course, because that's my perception. You happen to be talking about something that resonated, but being open enough to get them to receive the message. When I get caught up in whatever comes up, you put your blinders on. I put my blinders on, and I don't hear any of it. But I allowed whatever to flow through,
Right.
and there's moments that we can't. Right? There's sometimes that we put our blinders on, but it's really about looking at that and saying, okay, what can I get from that? Sometimes it's retrospectively. Sometimes you can do it right in the moment. It just depends. But I thought about my daughter. Like, we don't argue really ever, and I said to her, I was like, for some reason, I'm feeling some kind of way. I got to get off the phone right now.
Right.
And I got off the phone with her, and it was that to be able to come back to myself and say, okay, like you said, this came up. What's the big D? What is the big deal? No big deal. It's just another thing. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I like that we made that connection.
I do too.
That's good. See? It's like there's always something. Wrote this
Surprise.
thing over 5 years ago, 6 years ago. No, not that long ago. I wrote this thing probably 3 or 4 years ago. And it's still impressing me and doing things that and we're still diving in and finding these things.
Yeah.
Maybe
And it hasn't changed. But you grew,
no, it hasn't changed. No,
so
we
cool.
have, right? And we've opened up and we've allowed this to help us mature and grow and be increasingly more reasonable. Just like it's reasonable for this kid to just kind of be like, hey, there it is. I don't know anything about it, but there it is. And then it's also reasonable for us to go, oh, I'm feeling this way. I don't know anything about that, but like, let me go ahead and feel it and be like, oh, I like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. I'm feeling this, or, or whatever. And then we can say, okay, moving on. It isn't yours anyway, as we were saying earlier with Alicia, I think, or was it Susan? No, it was Susan. So.
Enjoy what you're given. I mean, they're all gifts, and you only have
Absolutely.
that moment anyway, and they're fleeting. They go by so fast.
They do.
And so don't make such a big deal of it, and I often tell myself that, Jackie, don't make a big deal of it because it's really not that important,
That's right.
And it's good to
I make
let
big
go.
deals about things still. Someone changes,
me too.
changes like, oh, can you add this to this? I was like, ah, literally it's going to take me 2 minutes. Why are you going to spend 5 minutes complaining?
And then you get to laugh at yourself. It's so good.
So
it's so good. Anyway. All right. Thank you. Love you.
Have a wonderful day today. Love you. We'll looking forward to hearing more about your time in Chicago with Grace. All right. Have a great one. All right. I got to go. I got an 8 o'clock this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Once again, today would have been, and I didn't really announce this in the beginning, a Newbie Tuesday. So Alicia did start. She is kind of newer than Susan and JK. So, we aligned with all that. But I'm always looking for new people to join me. So if you're out there listening and you listen every day, I know. I mean, sometimes not everybody wants to be as vulnerable as I think people tend to be here. And that's just because I love you. I love you guys. And so vulnerability is just part of it. And thank you, Alicia, for being as vulnerable as you are and allowing me that space to be able to comment and be honest and to share with you in all of that. Susan, good luck today with everything that you're doing. I love you, and we're all pulling for you. I know it's just a little procedure, but it can be scary. It can be whatever it is, and we love you, and we hope you have a wonderful time, and everybody is blessed while they are caring for you. JK, enjoy your time in Chicago. And yeah, that's it for me. If you guys this is really what I do with my clients and stuff. It's fun, but it is heavy work. And so if you guys are interested in recovering yourselves and in turning yourself around into the person that you want to be instead of the struggle that you see in the world around you and all of that, that's surrender. That's here. That's available. And I think you guys can see how I can work with you in that. So if you guys are interested in chatting, please, there's a free 30-minute call on my website. You can find that through the links in my profile. You can also pick up a copy of my Tao Te Ching. And once again, if you benefit from the work that I do here, please consider supporting me and supporting this show through Venmo or Buy Me a Coffee. Once again, you can find links to that in my profile. You can find links to those in my link tree, which is a link in my profile. So it's going to take you take you more than one click, but I appreciate any support that you can offer. And even just listening, that's a huge support. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.